From attacking a teenager multiple times to potentially brandishing a firearm, Ja Morant has been going completely crazy lately. Here's everything you need to know about his new gun and assault accusations. Apparently, last summer, Ja Morant, the basketball superstar, got himself into some hot water. First, he got into a tiff with the head of security at a Memphis mall.
Morant is also accused of threatening a security guard at a Memphis mall this past summer. Regarding this latest incident, the Grizzlies announced that Morant will be away from the team for at least 2 games following the controversial.
According to the security chief, Morant's crew pushed him around and left him feeling like he needed to file a police report. Yikes, that's not a good look. But wait, there's more. Just a few days later, Morant hosted a pickup basketball game at his house. Seems like a good time, right? Wrong. Morant and his buddy got into it with a 17-year-old boy and reportedly pummeled the poor kid's head. Ouch.
Out of bounds, it'll stay with. Look at this. He dunks his body is. He dunks it behind him. Look at where his body is. He's under the basket. He is. His head is looking up at the rim.
Apparently, it was so bad that the deputies showed up at the scene. They had to write up a detailed report of the injuries they observed. And if all that wasn't enough, things got even crazier when the teenager said Morant went inside and guess what? He came back out with a gun visible in his waistband. Geez, talk about a wild summer. I don't know about you, but I think it might be time for Ja to cool his jets a bit. But what did Ja have to say about all this? In an interview, Morant said that all of his actions were in self-defense. He told the detectives that he swung first, but he believed that the boy had been the aggressor because he threw a ball at Ja's head. The team proceeded to step in front of Ja while pulling his pants up.
They prepare for this, but the tap comes to Jalen Green. Doesn't have numbers, steps through. Oh, Morant blocked the shot! You've got to be kidding me! Morant!
And for some reason raised alarms in Morant's head and made him think that it was okay to assault a teenager. He continued that the ball was the first to hit him. The detective seemingly didn't confirm with Ja if the gun allegations made against him was true, but Morant did say that the kid didn't stop harassing him there. As he was leaving, he said he was going to come back and light the place up like fireworks. If all this is true, this is one rowdy kid, but I still don't think that justifies assault and gun stuff. Though, Ja still felt threatened by it. And weeks after the comment was made, he filed a police report saying that it endangered his family. In the end, the prosecutors reviewed the case but declined to file charges.
Morant knocked away by Banchero. Morant got it back, draws the foul, and scored the basket. Oh my goodness. How in the world did he do that?
They simply felt like there wasn't enough evidence to proceed with the case any further. Though, what do other people have to say about this whole incident? Well, starting off with Ja's agent. He claimed that these are just unsubstantiated rumors and gossip spread by people who want to tear Ja down. A lawsuit was even filed against Ja by the boy and his mother, but Ja's agent says that the allegations have been fully investigated and no evidence has been found to support them.
Playing in his 3rd game with the Spurs, 6'11", 235, the second-year player. And he's got to contend with a high-energy guy in Clark.
The NBA is also taking this seriously, but won't say if they've investigated or if the Grizzlies reported the incidents. Generally, teams are required to report incidents involving their players and law enforcement. So if the team chose to keep this thing concealed, they may be under some hot water. So far, the Grizzlies have declined to comment on the whole thing, so the finer details may still be unclear. Though, before we start taking sides and believing people, let's hear what the boy had to say too.
Brown only 1 of 6 now from the long line. Morant scoops and scores, and the foul.
The teen involved in all of this is a 17-year-old local high schooler. He told the police that he considered Morant a mentor of sorts. Well, I'm guessing that's not going to be the case anymore. The name of the juvenile has not been made public to protect his identity. He told the police that this wasn't the first time he'd been invited to the games, and he was very much impressed by Morant, even going as far as to call him an all-star.
Teammates guarding each other. Okay, Ja Morant. The 360 spin.
And I love the creativity.
It's clear that he's a big fan of Ja. So how did things get so bad between them? Well, it may have been a miscommunication of sorts. The teen was given the task of guarding one of the world's most electric scorers, and when Morant threw the ball hard at the boy's chest while attempting to check it in, it seems that the boy returned it with just as much energy and athleticism. But this time, the ball slipped right through Ja's fingers, hitting him on the chin. At this point, the teenager claims that Morant put his chin on the boy's shoulder, asking his friend if he should do it to him.
The entry pass delivered by Embiid. Turnover the first on Philly. Morant, pretty move to the rim.
and his friend was apparently all for it. This is when Morant went wild and punched the boy in the jaw. And this was all without warning, might I add. That's not even the end of it. Morant's friend joined in on the beatdown and punched the kid from the other side. The teenager claims that he fell to the ground and tried to cover his face so that he wouldn't get hit.
Grizzlies are plus 15 on the glass. Morant scooping in, scoring acrobatic by Morant. See it, Morant able to get downhill, elevate.
But of course, when two grown men are beating you down and you're just a teenager, it's impossible to avoid getting hurt. He describes getting punched repeatedly in the head, and not just once or twice, but around 12 to 13 times. Oh, and did I mention that's just by jaw alone? His friend also got a few hits in.
Dillon, a deep three. Morant, an offensive rebound, under 3 remaining in what has been a disaster of the second quarter for the Grizzlies. Fade away by Morant is in.
Around 4 to 5, according to the teenager. In fact, the men had to be pulled off this teenager by other people around them. Morant then went inside, and the boy got up to leave. He returned to his car, and that's where he claims that Morant returned with a gun. The team states that it was tucked into his pants, and while he didn't pull it out, he claims that it was indeed visible. According to the teen, his dad was yelling at him to go back and return to the house. If the events really are as this teen describes them, then I've got to say,
Oh, steal by Morant. Here comes showtime! From him with this lineup on the floor, you see as Morant come up with the steal, and it is showtime.
Ja really lost his cool over nothing. First, he threw the ball at the kid, only to have it return at the same speed. Then after failing to catch it, he got all angry and started beating down someone half his size. Doesn't seem too fair, does it? But even after that, it doesn't seem like any major actions are being taken. The police have simply stated that there just isn't enough evidence, like I said before. But there's also the NBA, who did their own investigations.
Morant, 10th assist. Behind the back. Oh, wow. And the foul.
And after reviewing the security footage, they've stated that they couldn't corroborate that any individual threatened others with a weapon. Though let's be real, even without the gun thing being true, the fact that these two grown adults went wild on a teenager is a bad enough look, isn't it? Ja claims that it was all done just to protect himself. But that can't be all true, right? He even admitted to being the first person to swing with his fists.
The newspaper reports that 4 days before that pickup game at his house in Eads last summer, which ended in a fistfight with a 17-year-old, Morant's mother got into an altercation at the Finish Line store inside Wolf Chase Galleria.
The boy's mistake was throwing the ball at him a little too quickly and having a miss. Though, the teenager may be able to get some justice through a lawsuit. The kid's mother filed a lawsuit after the event took place, and it's currently ongoing, although details about it have been kept concealed from the public eye. It was originally reported by TMZ in January. It's unclear just what the final result of the lawsuit will be, since these tend to take quite some time. But let's hope that the truth does come out in this case, and the people who are in the wrong get their just desserts.
About that, behind the back and takes it. Paul Volson got it.
And a technical foul here by Dillon Brooks.
Though, that's all we know about his gun and assault accusations so far.